Good morning, everyone. I am really pleased on behalf of the Florida Bar that we've had such a great turnout from the media in the state, both here in Miami and in Tallahassee. I want to thank you for your efforts and thank you for the coverage of what historically has been an extremely important issue in Florida, merit retention, and we think at the Florida Bar it's going to be a very, very, very important issue in November 2012. Research has shown that up to 90% of voters polled by the Florida Bar do not have an understanding, a very baseline understanding of the importance of merit retention and how our process of merit selection and merit retention works. You may be aware that there's been increasing attention with regard to judicial merit retention elections across the nation. And in fact, I heard a statistic just this morning that comes out of the ABA in Washington that it's anticipated that up to $60 million will be spent this year on judicial retention elections. The Florida Bar is very aware that Florida, given its prominence in the nation, will be on the radar screen in terms of how that issue is processed here. And the Florida Bar believes it has a duty to the public and to the profession, to the state, in connection with its mission to promote the administration of justice, to take its part in an educational effort to ensure balanced and informed information available to voters with regard to this extremely important election. Our focus this morning is going to be on the election in November of 2012. The Florida Bar has just launched the Votes in Your Court educational campaign, which started effective May 1 with a press conference in Tallahassee that was highlighted by the presence of Governor Askew. It's important you remember that Florida has the merit retention system because Florida had a severely plagued judicial system in the 60s and 70s at the time when appellate judges would run for office just like any representative office holder. Just like someone running for Congress or the state Senate or Attorney General, they would campaign broadly, raise funds broadly. And it was that milieu that led to a lot of scandal on the high court. And out of that scandal, we had a voter referendum that was approved by the voters overwhelmingly in 1976, where the merit system was put in place that would govern the appointment of appellate judges and justices on the basis of merit. And that system was put in place to depoliticize the selection of judges. Governor Askew talked about this extensively on Monday, and we are very honored to have one of the fathers of merit retention in this nation and in this state, one of the great statesmen of Florida, Senator Graham, to talk about that topic in a moment. Our effort is intended to be nonpartisan. We're not going to endorse a particular judge or justice. We have 3 justices on the ballot from Miami, Justice Fred Lewis, from Hillsborough County, Justice Peggy Quince, and from Palm Beach County, Justice Barbara Pariente. We also have 15 state court appellate judges, including judges from the 3rd District Court of Appeal, which is the district here in South Florida. This is an effort that the Florida Bar Board of Governors endorsed. We have several governors here present this morning, and I'm grateful for their presence. We also in this room have a remarkable number of past presidents of the Florida Bar indicating their broad support for this effort. I'd like each past president and governor and former governor to raise your hand, just so those can see. Pretty broad turnout, and thank you for your efforts to be here. With that as an introductory comment, I'd now like to call on Senator Graham. He's going to be followed by President-elect Gwen Young, who will be our 5th female president of the Florida Bar and takes office July 1. We also have the chairman of the board of the Florida Hispanic Chamber, who's going to speak with you in English and Spanish. The kit materials that's provided to you is both in English and Spanish. The chairman of the board is Mr. Lazaro Muir. We also have a representative from the National Bar Association, which is the largest minority bar association in the nation. And that representative is Juliet Rolak, who's also a distinguished member of the Florida Bar Board of Governors. Without any further comment, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Robert Graham, former Senator for the United States of America, on behalf of the state of Florida and a great governor of our state. Senator Graham. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. It is an honor to be able to participate in this very important effort to assure that the people of Florida understand the importance of the merit retention process and are informed and active participants in it later this year. As Scott alluded to, it was just a little over 40 years that the Supreme Court of Florida had its greatest period of scandal and public disgrace. And it was out of that and a recognition of the importance of an independent judiciary that had the confidence of the people that a bipartisan effort emerged to remove the politicalization into which our courts had fallen. It started under a Republican governor, Claude Kirk, who was the first to establish by executive order a judicial review process so that members of the judiciary were not just picked by the governor from among their pool of friends and supporters, but had a broader base and transparency. In 1971, under now Governor Reuben Askew, a Democrat, that process was extended. And then in that same year, the legislature voted to make judicial elections in Florida nonpartisan. Prior to that time, judges had run as either Republicans or Democrats and were seen serving on the bench as carrying with them those party labels. Also, the process of a judicial selection process to fill interim vacancies for the courts of Florida. The high point occurred when a constitutional amendment was presented to the people of Florida, which was passed overwhelmingly to establish a merit selection process for all of the appellate courts in Florida, including the Supreme Court, and then a process of a judicial nominating commission to select persons when vacancies occurred. Those procedural changes, which sound rather dry and legalistic, are a critical part of a web of relationships that has led to the independence of the Florida judiciary and a high level of confidence by the people. I am concerned that the whole concept of an independent judiciary is under assault. And it's not just in Florida, and it's not just on the issue of merit retention. I have the honor of serving on Sandra Day O'Connor's commission on the judiciary, and we've been monitoring this on a national basis. And one of the both interesting but scary things is that assaults against the judiciary are being seen in many states and in precisely the same form, which indicates that there's some guiding force that has as their objective to return the judiciary to its previous status of politicalization. November will be an opportunity for Floridians by their informed participation in merit selection to send a strong signal that we support the system that Florida has, we understand the system, we want to participate in the system, and by doing so, we can assure that that thing that people around the world today are sacrificing their lives for, equal justice under law, will be preserved. Thank you.